different world. Now, the third week, we speak about quantum power 2, the power to orchestrate time. You know, we live in a world in which space is warping and time is accelerating or slowing down to nothingness. Now, when you are no longer being at the mercy of normal time limitations, what happens? I have known some extraordinary people who accomplish so much. And how do they do this? Margaret Mead had this ability. So did my friend Buckminster Fuller. They were able to bring their vision to fruition over and over again. They produced so much good for the world because they weren't bound by the standard limited perceptions of time. You have the same power in your life. It isn't magic. Yes, it's hard to change old habits, operating in time as we normally think of it. Losing weight, quitting a bad health habit, being more focused on a project, taking better care of yourself and loved ones. Imagine if you could change those limiting habits into better, more productive and fulfilling habits. Then watch your to-do list begin to shrink because of how much you'll be able to get done in less time. You're no longer at the mercy of normal time limitations. You step out of the normal perception of time. You expand time to accomplish more without losing sleep. You overcome limits. You overcome limited thinking. You change old habits. You create new, more effective ones. And above all, you realize that you begin to live in universal time. The fourth week, the quantum power 3, that's the power of the quantum mind. Now, this week is about enhancing your ability to learn and develop new skills. It's a very, very special technique I've used, during most of my career. And when I share this with significant leaders and artists and writers and thinkers all over the world, it radically affects them. So even if you feel like some things are hard to learn, or maybe you feel some skills are beyond you, it's not so. You can learn the necessary skills to advance your projects, your career, without necessarily spending years in training. I'm also going to give you a special technique that will admit you to what I call the University of Consciousness. And it's actually the university of your own particular consciousness. So you think of an area where you've been stuck because you didn't know how to move forward. What if you could access the power of the universe's consciousness and be able to be deeply receptive to the knowledge and skill of an entire subject, even to work archetypally in a wonderful, creative, somewhat fantasy exercise, but it goes way beyond that. So, for example, suppose you really needed to access a greater sense of compassion and creativity. Well, I would ask you, who will work for you? And you say, Francis of Assisi. All right, let's get into the mind cell. We'll describe it. And suddenly you find that you're there walking in the Tuscan hills with Francis of Assisi. Now, are you physically actually doing that? Is it just an imaginative exercise? I'm not sure. I am really not sure. All I can say is it is tremendously effective, tremendously effective. And you don't feel stuck like that again. So you improve your skills and learning abilities. You access a process to develop new skills very quickly. You connect with the wisdom of the species. You access internally the inner masters of a particular skill. You improve the skill. You access higher forms of learning, a kind of university or internet of consciousness. You expand your creativity to really much higher levels, you see. Now you would say, well, this is all imagination. Yes, it may start imaginatively, but you know, friends, something else happens in this. You tap into quantum powers. You tap into the very field of being of the universe. You tap into the knowledge systems, the intelligence systems, being now a cosmic agent, so to speak, that has been there for you all the time. Just like we have completed the Great Sea Journey. So we completed them 500 years ago. The Great Sea Journeys that took us all over the world. We are now in a universal journey. Now, try to find another course that does that. Week 5, quantum power. 4, the power to manifest what is needed. So with this quantum power, you're going to learn how to attract the resources and the people you need to help succeed in your life. Remember, you're not alone. This is the thing. We're all entangled. That's wonderful new science of entanglement that you began with a study of looking at different kind of atoms or different kinds of molecules or energy or little tiny bits of being, that are utterly in resonance with the other one that it's bonded with. We are all bonded. We are all part of what is called Indra's net. In ancient Sanskrit philosophy, Indra, the world of Indra is the universe. In Indra's net, there is a great necklace of jewels. And to look into one is to see all the others reflected. For everything is interconnected. Everything is related. Well, we enter Indra's net. You are not separate from the universe. And you don't have to do anything alone because the whole universe is right at hand to be with you, to help you. Other people have skills that you can activate. Once you know how to attract the right people with the right skills, it begins to happen to you. Also, the same goes for resources. I mean, if there's an area in your life right now that could use just the right people or opportunities or ideas or resources to, for goodness sake, show up, this begins to happen, and it begins to lift you to another level. You're living in a larger universe. So you have a project or in your career that you'd like to develop, or you're yearning to express yourself through art, but the doors haven't opened up. Or maybe you're just feeling a pull towards something, a lure, a call, but you're not sure what it is. It's as if this call is there and it is yearning for you, but it has to become activated, the right person, the right time, the opening of the book suddenly to exactly the right words. I mean, the universe is there surrounding you, saying, here, it's here. And things begin to happen. The great drama and adventure of synchronicity begins to occur in your life. So with this quantum power of manifestation, the art and science of manifestation, we are going to activate your powers to manifest what is really needed for a better life, a better possibility, and above all, a better world. Because there's no question that when you get into this kind of flow, friends, you really begin to be given opportunities to change and improve your world. So that the project that's been moving so slowly like a snail, suddenly it gets a jump start. Or that business idea that you've had will suddenly have appropriate resources. This is what you'll begin to experience once you've integrated this power into your life. Okay? And in week 6, quantum power 5, the power of quantum healing and quantum energy. This quantum power will help give you energy to truly radiate. You'll develop very potent abilities to energize your body, because the clearer you feel in your body, the better you'll be able to bring your gifts into the world. My late husband, who died of an old age, was able, it was fascinating, he was getting all the wrinkles that ran in his family. He had family with faces that looked like old prunes, quite frankly. And he was beginning to feel kind of prunish inside as well. Horrible metaphor, but it was true. And what he did is he accessed this quantum power of healing energy. And before you know it, he, at 70, began to look like a young man. He began to look like he was maybe 45, because he was activating the quantum powers. And he put himself into a template, and he said, I want to look 45. And then all the right people and opportunities and different creative forms of body-mind transformation just began to come to him, and before we know it, I was walking side by side with a much younger man. So, and he had so much more energy than he had had before, even when he was 45. So, if you've ever experienced those times in your life when life just takes everything out of you, when you're just spent, and you don't know what else you can give. And it's like day after day after day, life is like that. It takes a tremendous toll on your body and mind, yes? But I'm going to tell you that it's possible to tap into a reservoir of energy provided by the cosmos that will refresh you, light you up again, no matter how drained you may feel yourself to be. So imagine, dear friends, about having direct access to that, that great, well, I would say an electric plug into your life, but it's more than that. You are really, it's almost like being there in the front of the ocean and feeling the ocean's energies coursing through you. Imagine what would be possible if you had specific practices and techniques to energize body, mind, spirit, creativity. I've had students tell me that they no longer need as much sleep, but felt more rested than ever before. I myself, because I have such a complex life, I rarely get much more than 5 hours sleep, yet I run around the world and I'm full of beans, and people think I'm 30 to 40 years younger than I actually am. And, of course, I'm half Sicilian, so that's part of it, 4,000 years of olive oil. But apart from that, now, I'm not making healing claims, but I will say that many of my students and myself have dramatically quickened their healing process with the techniques that I'm going to share with you in this module. So, what are we doing here? We are profoundly developing potent healing and energizing abilities. We are more clearly feeling into issues that arise in our body and understanding how best to deal with them. We are accessing specific techniques to more quickly heal yourself from injuries and illnesses, and also to make yourself whole. It's not simply healing. It is holing as well. Week 7 is about your unique genius, integrating all the powers. This final module in this week, you're going to learn how to integrate all your newly acquired quantum powers into your life. You'll become a deeply conscious co-creator with the universe. And this is where I send you off to the world as, certainly in part transformed human being who's accessed, experienced, infused your higher potential. You're infused with your higher potential. So many of you will find that you're at a whole new level of power, of creativity, of attraction, of influence, of creativity, and quite literally, much, much more will be possible for you. And when you look back at the person that you were before you started this journey, you'll be amazed to see how held back by limitations you were. I remember one of my students who is doing this kind of work with me said, Jean, when I look back at where I was before, it was like I was a Neanderthal compared to the fullness of humanity that I am now expressing, of evolved humanity. So this is the week I'm really very excited about, because here you will be able to leave the course and hopefully make a much larger difference in your life and the lives of others and in the world that you ever thought possible. I like to say you will begin to live mythically. You will live the mythic life. That, by the way, is the subject, the title of my autobiography. You will know yourself as a mything link, a hero, a heroine, bringing new possibilities into time. So on the everyday level, the practical level, that life will tend to flow so much more smoothly. You'll know how to expand time, attract people, resources you need, and you'll be able to learn new skills faster, gain more energy, all of this and more. This is where you truly begin to shine. You will become your own version of one of the great Renaissance characters, like Leonardo da Vinci. You're not going to become Leonardo da Vinci, but you will find an inventiveness, a creativity, and attention and intention. That's what he had. He had vast curiosity. He was interested in everything. You'll keep a notebook of the way your life is shifting, and you will begin to watch the patterns of life itself.